Welcome back to the Deep Dive, everyone. This is where we really, get into the nuts and bolts of language and try to make it clear for you.
Yeah.
Today, we're looking at something that seems simple, maybe,
Yeah.
but isn't. It's about how we talk about getting things done, but not necessarily by ourselves.
Exactly. We're talking delegation, permission, even, making someone do something. It's moving beyond just saying, I did the task, to explaining how you got someone else involved.
Right.
And the tools for that in English, they're called causative verbs. That's our focus today.
Okay, causative verbs. So our mission for this deep dive is to really nail down the main ones. I think there are 5 key ones.
That's right. We focus on the big 5: let, make, get, help, and have.
And it's not just what they mean, is it? It's the grammar, the sentence structure that follows them. That's the tricky part.
That is absolutely the core challenge.
Yeah.
Get the structure wrong, even by one tiny word like to, and, the whole thing sounds off.
So this is kind of a shortcut then. Master these 5 and their rules, and you've got a handle on a really common communication pattern.
Precisely. It's about sounding natural when you're talking about influence or responsibility. So let's start with the basics. What even is a causative verb fundamentally?
Good question. Let's unpack that. What makes a verb causative? When do we know we're using one?
Well, the simplest way to think about it is this. The subject of the sentence isn't the one doing the main action. They're the cause of the action.
Ah, okay. So I'm not doing the verb. I'm making the verb happen.
Exactly. You're the initiator, the motivator. There's always someone else, an agent, who actually performs the task.
Right.
Like pushing the first domino. You push it, but another domino further down is the one that actually falls over in the end.
Got it. Cause versus action. You mentioned different kinds of motivation. That's why we have these different verbs.
Precisely. English didn't just lump it all under one verb. The way you cause the action matters. The sources we looked at show this whole spectrum.
Okay, so what are the different ways?
Well, you might just be giving permission, right? Letting someone do something. Or you might be persuading them, reasoning with them.
Okay, permission, persuasion.
Or maybe you're paying for a service, assigning a duty. That's another type. Then there's simply helping someone, assisting.
Right.
And at the other end of the scale, you've got, compulsion, forcing someone.
Wow, okay. So gentle permission all the way to force. That covers a lot.
It really does. And each of those types of influence maps onto one of our 5 main verbs.
Let's list them again then with that specific influence type attached. That seems really helpful.
Okay, here's the rundown. 1, let, that's your permission verb, giving the green light.
Okay, let and mission.
2, make, this is the strong one, compulsion, forcing, making someone do it.
Make, force. Got it.
3, get, this is about persuasion, convincing, maybe requesting until they agree.
Get, persuasion. Makes sense.
4, help. Pretty straightforward, assisting, making it easier for someone.
Assistance. Yep.
And 5, have. This one's often about responsibility, instruction, or paying for a service. Think delegation or arranging something.
Have. Responsibility, delegation, service.
Okay. So yeah, permission, force, persuasion, assistance, responsibility. Those are the core ideas.
It seems straightforward when you list the meanings like that, but you said the real deep dive is the structure.
Absolutely. Knowing that you use make for force is easy. Knowing whether to put to after the next verb, that's the challenge.
Right. So it comes after the causative verb. You called it the infinitive complement.
Yeah, basically. Does the verb that follows take its base form, what we call the bare infinitive, like go, do, see, or does it need to the full infinitive, like to go, to do, to see?
And that choice depends entirely on which of the 5 causative verbs we just used.
100%. And that's where we need to dig in.
Okay, let's start with a pair that share a structure, even though their meanings are worlds apart. You mentioned LET and make. Let's do LET first, permission.
Right. So LET is when you allow something. You give consent. The other person, the agent, usually wants to do the action, and you're just saying, okay.
The causation is allowance.
Exactly. And structurally, LET is a founding member of what we can call the bare infinitive club.
Meaning no to.
Meaning no to. The structure is subject, who permits, plus LAT, and this verb takes the tense, past, present, future, plus object, who is permitted, plus the base form of the action verb, no to.
Okay, subject plus LET plus object plus base verb. Let's hear some examples. And pay attention to the verb after LET.
Sure, like my parents let me stay out late on weekends, stay, not to stay.
Right, LET is present tense there.
Or, yesterday, the teacher let us use our notes during the quiz. Let is past tense here. It looks the same as present, which can be tricky, but use is still the base form.
Use, not to use.
One more, future. She will let her friend borrow the book. Again, borrow, base form.
Stay, use, borrow. All base forms, no to, consistent.
Very consistent for LAT itself, but now, the twist.
Ah, okay. Here it comes. What if we use a similar word like allow or permit? The meaning is basically the same, right? Permission.
The meaning is identical, but the grammar flips completely. If you swap LT for allow or permit, you must add the to.
Seriously, just changing that one verb forces the to in.
Absolutely. It's like a grammatical switch. Let T, no to, allow permit, yes to.
Okay, let's rework those examples. My parents let me stay out late, using allow.
Becomes, my parents allowed me to stay out late, see? To stay.
Wow, okay. And the teacher let us use our notes.
The teacher permitted us to use our notes, mandatory to use.
And she will let her friend borrow the book.
She will allow her friend to borrow the book. To borrow.
That's incredibly specific. That one little word to hinges entirely on whether you chose let or allow permit.
It does. It's a classic mistake for learners, but get this right and you sound much more fluent.
Okay, so that's LET, and it's two requiring cousins. Now let's swing to the other extreme. Make. Compulsion, force.
Right. Make is about power. You're obliging someone, forcing them. They probably don't want to do the action.
But structurally, you said it's friends with LAT.
Structurally, yes. Despite the opposite meaning, make also belongs to the bare infinitive club, no to.
Okay, so the structure is the same format.
Almost identical. Subject, who forces, plus make, takes the tense, plus object, who is forced, plus base form of the action verb, no to.
Let's hear make in action, examples of forcing someone using the base verb.
Okay. The sad movie made me cry. Made is past, cry is base form.
Cry not to cry.
Right. My manager sometimes makes us work overtime. Makes is present, work is base form.
Work not to work.
The rules will make everyone follow the procedure. Make is future, follow is base form.
Cry, work, follow. All base form. It really does mirror LAT structurally.
It does, but now we have the same kind of twist as before. What if you use a synonym for make, like force?
Let me guess. The to comes back.
You got it. If you use force, you need the full infinitive.
So the sad movie made me cry becomes...
The sad movie forced me to cry.
And my manager makes us work overtime.
My manager forces us to work overtime.
Okay, so it's a consistent pattern. Let make bare infinitive. Allow permit force full infinitive with to.
That's the main pattern, yes. But there's a very important exception with make that we absolutely have to cover.
Oh, another layer. Okay, what is it?
It's about the passive voice.
Ah, so active voice is, my manager made me work. Passive voice would be, I was made.
Exactly. I was made, and here's the rule. When make is used in the passive voice, the to suddenly reappears. You must use the full infinitive.
Wait, really? So active. He made me apologize. No to, but passive. I was made to apologize.
Precisely. I was made to apologize. The to is required in the passive form of make.
That feels completely backwards. Why does it come back only in the passive?
It's a structural thing, mainly. Without the to, a sentence like I was made apologize sounds, well, broken or incomplete in English. The to sort of stabilizes the grammar when the person being forced becomes the subject of the passive sentence.
Okay, that's a really subtle but crucial point. Active make equals no to. Passive make, yes, it's to.
It's a high-level distinction, often tested. It's unique to make among these bare infinitive verbs.
Okay, let's recap this section then. LT and active make are the no-to verbs, the bare infinitive guys.
Right.
But if you swap them for synonyms like allow, permit, or force, the to is mandatory.
Correct.
And the big exception, if make goes passive, the to comes back in.
You've nailed it. That's the core of LT and make.
All right, moving on. Let's tackle the next pair. We're shifting away from permission and force now into persuasion and assistance, starting with get.
Yes, geti. This is your go-to verb when you've managed to persuade someone, reason with them, convince them. It implies, some effort was involved, but you succeeded.
So the action happens because the other person agreed, maybe after you asked or argued a bit.
Exactly. They weren't forced, like with make, and they didn't just get permission, like with LT. They were persuaded.
And structurally, where does get T stand on the to issue?
Get is firmly, absolutely in the full infinitive camp. It always requires to. No exceptions here, like with passive make.
Okay, so get always needs to. What's the structure then?
It's subject, who persuades, plus get T, takes a tense, plus object, who is persuaded, plus to plus base form of the verb plus the rest of the sentence.
Subject plus get t plus object plus to plus base verb, mandatory to.
Mandatory to. Forgetting it is a very common mistake.
Well, let's hear some examples then, focusing on that too.
Okay. It was difficult, but I finally got my friend to lend me his car. Got is past, and it's to lend.
To lend, right? Persuasion implied.
How can we get the committee to approve our proposal? Get is base form after can, and it's to approve.
To approve, yep.
She always gets her kids to eat their vegetables by making it a game. Gets is present, to eat.
To eat. Okay, always to with get when it means persuade.
Always. And what's helpful here, unlike the Latalo situation, is that the synonyms for get, like convince or persuade, use the exact same structure.
So it's easier. So if I say I convince my friend.
To lend me his car. Same structure. I persuaded the committee to approve the proposal. Same structure again.
Okay, so the rule is simple. If the meaning is persuasion, get, convince, persuade, the structure is always to plus base verb.
That's the rule. Nice and consistent for persuasion.
All right, that makes sense. Now, what about the other verb in this section, the gentlest one, H-E-L-P?
H-E-L-P. Yes, this is about assistance facilitation. You're not making someone do the whole thing. You're just, well, helping them do it, making it easier.
And structurally, is it team bare infinitive or team full infinitive?
Well, this is where English gives us a break. H-E-L-P is flexible. It actually allows both.
Both. You mean you can use to or not use to, and it's still correct?
Exactly right. It's your choice. The structure is subject plus H-E-L-P, takes the tense, plus object who is helped, plus optionally T-O, plus base form of the verb.
Optional to. Huh. Does the meaning change at all depending on whether you use to or not?
Not really, no. At least not in modern standard English. Some people feel the bare infinitive without to sounds slightly more direct or common, especially in American English.
Okay.
The full infinitive with to might feel a tiny bit more formal, maybe more frequent in British English sometimes. But honestly, both are perfectly standard and mean the same thing. Assistance.
Okay, so give us examples showing both ways.
Sure, you could say, could you help me carry these bags? Bare infinitive carry.
Right.
Or you could just as correctly say, could you help me to carry these bags? Full infinitive to carry.
But okay, another one.
Reading before bed helps me relax. Bare infinitive relax.
Or?
Reading before bed helps me to relax. Full infinitive to relax. Both are fine.
Wow. So HLOP is the easy one, grammatically speaking. Total freedom on the two.
It is. A bit of welcome flexibility after the strict rules for the others.
Okay, so summarizing this part. Get S means persuasion and always needs to. Synonyms like convince also need to. HLLP means assistance and lets you choose to or no to. Both are correct.
That's it, exactly. Now, prepare yourself for the final verb, haste VE, which brings back the complexity.
All right, hey VE. You flagged this one as complex. Why is it so tricky?
Well, hey VE is tricky because it really functions like two different causative verbs depending on what you're focusing on in the sentence. And the structure changes dramatically between these two functions.
They're different functions, two different structures. Okay, let's break them down. What's the first use of hey VE?
The first use is when we arrange for a service to be done, often by paying someone, but we don't mention who actually does the work. The focus is on the object receiving the action, the result.
Like getting your hair cut or your car fixed, but you don't mention the barber or the mechanic.
Exactly that. We know someone did it, but they're not named in the sentence. And the structure here is completely different from the others we've seen. It doesn't use a base form or a to infinitive.
No infinitive. What does it use then?
It uses the past participle of the action verb. This is the form used in perfect tenses or passive voice, like cut, broken, seen, painted, repaired.
The third form of the verb.
Okay.
What's the full sentence structure?
It goes, subject, who arranges it, plus have VE, takes the tense, plus the direct object, the thing being worked on, plus the past participle of the action verb.
Subject plus have EE plus object plus past participle. Let's try that with examples. Haircut.
I had my hair cut yesterday. Had is past tense. Have ye, my hair is the object. Cut is the past participle.
Okay, not I had my hair cut the barber. The barber is missing.
Right, the agent is unnamed. Another one. We need to have the roof repaired before winter. Have is base form after need to. The roof is the object. Repaired is the past participle.
Repaired. Got it. Car fixed.
He is having his car service this week. Having is present continuous. His car is the object. Service is the past participle.
Cut, repaired, serviced. All past participles. And the focus is on the hair, the roof, the car. This structure is sometimes called the passive causative, right?
That's a common term for it, yes, because the object is receiving the action, similar to a passive sentence.
Okay, so that's ACDE, usage 1. Arranging a service, agent unnamed. Use the past participle. What's usage 2?
Usage 2 is when you do mention the agent. This is more like direct delegation or giving instructions to a specific person. You're assigning responsibility.
Ah, so now we are naming the mechanic or the assistant.
Exactly. And when you name the agent, the structure completely changes back. Have EE in this usage rejoins the bare infinitive club.
Back to no 2, like LET and active make.
Precisely. The structure becomes subject, who delegates, plus have the, takes the tense, plus the indirect object, the agent, the person doing it, plus the base form of the action verb, no 2.
Okay, subject plus have plus agent plus base verb. Let's contrast this directly with the car example. Usage 1 was he had his car repaired. What's usage 2, naming the mechanic?
Usage 2 would be, he had the mechanic repair the car. Had is past tense, have the mechanic is the agent, repair is the base form.
Repair, not repair. Wow, that's a huge difference just by adding the mechanic.
It signals a complete shift in focus from the object, car, to the agent, mechanic, and their action.
Give us another example of usage 2. Naming the agent, using the base verb.
Sure. The manager had her assistant book the flights. Had is past, her assistant is the agent, book is the base form.
Book, not booked.
Or future. I will have the plumber fix the leak tomorrow. Have is future, the plumber is the agent, fix is the base form.
Fix, not fixed. Okay, so have is really 2 verbs in one structural suit. Unnamed agent equals past participle. Named agent equals base form, bare infinitive.
That's the core distinction you have to grasp for have EE.
Now this second use, usage 2. I had the plumber fix the leak. That sounds a bit like I made the plumber fix the leak, or maybe I got the plumber to fix the leak. How do we tell have usage 2, apart from make and get? They all involve getting someone else to act.
That's the crucial point of confusion, especially between have and get. The difference lies in the implied reason for the action, the source of the influence.
Okay, so what does have imply?
Have-e, usage 2 with the agent named, implies the reason is authority, duty, responsibility, or payment for a service. The agent does it because it's their job, they were instructed, or they're being paid. There's usually no persuasion needed.
Okay, authority or obligation. And get.
Get, as we said, implies persuasion, negotiation, convincing. The agent does it because you managed to get them to agree. Maybe they were initially reluctant.
So heavy is more about hierarchy or transaction. Get is more about interpersonal influence.
That's a great way to put it. Let's use that workplace example again. A manager and an employee.
Okay.
If the manager says, I had the employee send the email, the implication is, I instructed them, it's their job. That's HEVE, usage 2. Bare infinitive send.
Makes sense. Duty.
But if the manager says, I finally got the employee to send the email after reminding them twice, the implication is, I had to persuade or push them. That's GET, full infinitive to send.
Ah, okay. The choice between had.send and got.send tells you a lot about the interaction.
It really does. It subtly communicates the power dynamic or the nature of the request.
Is there anything else about have versus get? Any other nuances?
Well, yes, there's a slight consideration with tenses, particularly continuous ones.
How so?
The first use of have E, the passive causative, works fine in continuous. I'm having my kitchen remodeled. That's natural.
Okay.
But the second use, the delegation one, can sometimes sound a bit clunky in the continuous, like, I am having the contractor remodel my kitchen. It's grammatically okay, but it sounds a little stiff.
So what would people say instead?
Very often, native speakers will naturally switch to get in that situation, even if the underlying reason is duty or payment. They might say, I'm getting the contractor to remodel my kitchen. It just flows a bit better, especially in speech when describing an ongoing arrangement.
Interesting. So get sometimes substitutes for have usage too in continuous tenses just for smoothness.
Kind of, yeah. It avoids the slightly awkward repetition of having someone do something. Get feels a bit more active for describing an ongoing process of arrangement.
That's the kind of detail that makes these deep dives so valuable. It's not just rules in a vacuum, it's how they actually play out in real usage. Hashtag tag outro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lot to take in about have and really about all 5 verbs. We've covered permission, force, persuasion, help, delegation, service, and all those structural rules. Let's try to boil it down one last time. What are the absolute must-remember structural takeaways?
Let's group them by the structure they demand. That's probably the easiest way. First, the bare infinitive club, no to, that's LAT, permission. Make, force, but only in the active voice. And have when you name the agent, delegation instruction.
Okay. Let L active make, have with agent, base verb.
Second, the full infinitive club needs to. That's get t, persuasion. And remember, it's synonyms like convince, persuade, and also the synonyms for let make, like allow, permit, force. They all fall in this to category.
Right.
And crucially, passive make also requires to.
Right. Get, allow, permit, force, passive make, to, plus base verb.
Third, the flexible one, the diplomat, HLLP. It takes either the bare infinitive or the full infinitive. Your choice.
HLP equals base verb, or to, plus base verb. Got it.
And finally, the real outlier, have VE when you don't name the agent arranging a service. This one doesn't use an infinitive at all. It uses the past participle.
Have VE without agent, past participle, like done, seen, fixed.
Master those 4 categories, and you've basically cracked the causative verb code.
It really does feel like a kind of code. Getting it right gives you this precision in expressing how things get done. It's more than just vocabulary. It's about control and influence in language.
It absolutely is. And that leads nicely into a final thought, something for you listeners to consider.
Okay.
We talked a lot about the difference between the bare infinitive structure, used by let, make, have with agent, and the full infinitive structure with to, used by get, allow, force, passive make.
Yeah, the to or no to distinction was central.
Some linguists suggest that the bare infinitive structure implies a more direct, almost single event causation. I made him leave. It's like one action. Bang.
Okay, directness.
Whereas the to infinitive, as in I got him to leave, introduces a slight separation. The to can imply a process, a goal that needed to be reached, maybe involving agreement or overcoming resistance. It's less direct.
Process versus direct command.
So here's the thought. Does your choice of causative verb, and therefore its required structure, subtly reflect the power dynamic you perceive or want to project?
How do you mean?
Well, when you use a bare infinitive verb like make, I made him do it, or had him do it, are you implicitly saying the agent's will is secondary, either overridden by force or subsumed by duty? The grammar itself is very direct, maybe even reflects that lack of agency.
Interesting point. The structure mirrors the lack of choice.
And conversely, when you use a verb like get thee, I got him to do it, which requires that separating to, are you grammatically acknowledging that you had to work through their agency, that their agreement was a necessary step in the process?
So the grammar of persuasion inherently includes that sense of negotiation or bridging a gap, represented by the to.
Perhaps. It's something to think about next time you're describing how you got something done through someone else. Does your verb choice have versus get, make versus persuade reflect compulsion, duty, or negotiation? And does the grammatical structure itself reinforce that subtle message about power and free will?
That's a really fascinating layer to consider. Grammar reflecting power dynamics. Definitely something to mull over.
Indeed.
Well, thank you for guiding us through that complex web. That was a true deep dive into causative looms.
My pleasure. They're fundamental, so it's worth the effort.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone, for joining us on the deep dive. We'll catch you next time.